Good evening, everyone. My name is Diamond Cannon, and today I'll be presenting my econometric analysis on housing prices in Georgia. My project examines what economic and demographic factors influence Georgia's housing market, especially in the years following COVID-19. Good evening. In this slide, I demonstrate the structure of how the presentation is going to go. I will start with the motivation behind my topic, then review the literature, describe my data and variables, present my model, and go through the regression results, and finish with diagnostics, conclusions, and policy implications. My core research question is, what economic and demographic factors influence Georgia housing prices? Georgia's housing market has changed dramatically since 2020, and understanding the drivers behind these movements helps explain affordability, trends, and broader economic conditions. I chose this topic because Georgia has experienced rapid population growth, and in many areas, housing prices have risen faster than income. Economic factors like unemployment and income levels affect demand, while crime rates and home characteristics affect desirability. With these changes happening so quickly, statewide econometric model helps us understand what is driving home values during this period. So, previous research clearly supports the variables I selected. The hedonic pricing literature shows that home size, structure quality, and neighborhood attributes strongly influence housing prices. Cernan and Zeitz find that bedrooms, bathrooms, and home size significantly raise home values. Barocca and Tracy show that local public services and neighborhood factors, especially crime, play a major role in price differences. Finally, Pace and Schiller show that statewide economic fundamentals like income and unemployment affect overall home price trends. Together, these studies justify including income, unemployment, crime, population growth, and home size in my model. My dataset combines several state-level sources from 2020 through 2025. Zillow's Home Value Index provides my dependent variables with the statewide housing prices. The Census Bureau provides median income and population estimates. The Bureau of Labor Statistics provides my unemployment dataset, whereas the Georgia Bureau of Investigation provides my crime rates. I focused on the years 2020 through 2024 in the final regression since these years contain complete data. My dependent variable is the Zillow home value for Georgia. Originally, I planned to include five predictors: median income, unemployment rate, population growth, crime rate, and home size. However, my sample size is rarely very small, only five annual observations, so including all variables cause multicollinearity and degrees of freedom issues. So with that, I refined my model to two key variables that theory strongly supports and that have complete data, which is the median household income and the employment rate. These predictors were able to help me explain the economic strength and labor market conditions which strongly affect home values. As you can see above, I have shown my model equation for my regression project. I expect the median income to have a positive coefficient because higher income increases purchasing power and raises home prices. I expect unemployment to have a negative coefficient since job losses reduce demand and lower housing prices. Now let's look at the results. My adjusted R square is currently at 0.9476, meaning the model explains about 95% of the variation in Georgia home values. Median income has a positive coefficient of about 11.82, meaning every dollar increase in median income raises home prices by roughly $11.82. Whereas unemployment, it does have a negative coefficient, about 20,800, meaning higher unemployment lowers home prices substantially. Because I have only four usable observations, the p-values are not statistically significant. This is expected with small samples. Even though the variables are not significant, the signs of the coefficients match economic theory and align strongly with my literature. Next, I ran diagnostic checks. The F-test shows an F-value of 28.15, but the p-value is 0.13 due to the very small sample size. The t-test showed that income is the strongest predictor while unemployment is weaker. Again, this is normal for limited data. My adjusted R squared remains high, which supports the reasonableness of my model. But because I only have four residuals, formal serial correlation tests are unreliable. But visually, there is no pattern indicating autocorrelation. Finally, I tested the multicollinearity, the original model with five variables suffered from severe multicollinearity and insufficient degrees of freedom. The simplified two-variable model is stable and it's pretty much presentable for the data set. Overall, the findings show that median income and unemployment meaningfully explain Georgia housing prices. Income has a strongly positive relationship with home values, while unemployment has a negative relationship, which is consistent with both theory and prior research. Even though statistically significance is low due to small dataset, the direction and magnitude of the coefficients provide a clear economic story. Economic strength supports home values while labor market weaknesses reduces them. Based on these results, there are several policy implications. First, policies that support income growth, such as wage development and skill training, can strengthen the housing market. Second, stabilizing employment is critical because rising unemployment leads to falling home values. Third, Georgia should use economic indicators like income and unemployment as early signals when planning housing supply or monitoring mortgage risk. Finally, rising incomes can also worsen affordability, so policymakers should balance growth with tools like down payment assistance or flexible zoning. Thank you again. Here are my references, my academic and my data sources used in my analysis, which include Zillow, Fred, the Census Bureau, the GI Crime Database, and the major housing economics research articles that inform my model. Thank you again for listening.